Hello, I'm your host, Delia Witt, and today this is the third season of The Hot Seat.
No, it's around the rim. But I'm going to put you on the hot seat for saying that.
Around the rim. And I hope you enjoy this. Thank you, and I hope you like this.
All right. Well, y'all already know me, and for our third season, I think we're going to get real more into it this
That's
year.
Evan, and that's Chad.
You know it's me. Like, who else is it? Should I go without the hat or with the hat? I don't know. All right. So, before we get, how's it going, sir? Because today is going to be our argument for you.
All right.
Sir. All right.
And hello.
Now.
Fist bump. Whoops. Sorry.
Ask the first question. We'll get down to it.
Okay. Is Lonzo a bust?
He's referring to Lonzo Ball. And I'm going to go ahead and say no. He's a bust so far. But in the long run, no, he's not going to be a bust. You look at the kid. He's averaging 9, 8, and 8. The 8 and 8 is really impressive. The 9 points per game and the field goal percentage, the free throw percentage, the three-point percentage, the shot in general is just ugly and does not look good. It's about as messed up as my voice right now. And that's what you get for yelling at referees. But, I mean, from what I get from this, Lonzo is not a bust. But he has got to get better at the fundamentals of the game, shooting the basketball. He's got to get out of the media. He's got to get away from his dad. He's got to focus on the fundamentals of basketball, just driving to the hoop, not focusing on some step back or some three-pointer. I'd rather him attack the basket than shoot threes because that jumper's ugly as frick. And I want him to pass the basketball, to be that pass-first point guard that this generation of the NBA is missing. The Steve Nash, the Jason Kidd, who he is most compared to. So I just think he's got to keep going out there and try to build up his confidence, maybe work on his shot a bit more. But I think he needs to live up to the role of a pass-first point guard and maybe as he gets later into his career, be that tall point guard like Magic Johnson. But for right now, he's just got to be a pass-first point guard because that shot is not going to go in from what I've seen. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I hate to say and ruin the show, I haven't watched a lot of NBA basketball.
Neither have I. I just watch highlights.
I've been consumed with college football and mainly college football. I've watched some pro football, but not as much because of my schedule. I usually get more into the NBA after the football season is over. I've read articles more so than I've watched. I think I've watched Lonzo play a game where he got a triple-double. He's not shooting the ball well, like you said. From what I've read, he does need to improve. And, Kobe Bryant's called him out, been saying that they need to get better now. And that's always the case. But, when Kobe played, Kobe had more stars around him. He had some veterans that played with him that Lonzo doesn't have, and
but you got to remember though, he does have Magic Johnson in the office.
Well, he had Shaq, but to say he's a bust, it's way too early. I'm no expert, but I think it's too early to say if he's a bust. And, he needs to get better, yes, but and it depends on what the expectations are out of him. Like a bust, maybe a superstar. He's still got time to become a superstar, but as far as what kind of career and whatnot, we'll just have to wait and see and how he responds to the criticism.
Oh, yes. He's got a lot of
I don't like his father. I know you do, but I think, he's obviously his father runs the show and he listens to what his dad says, but I can tell by looking at him, he's a good kid and got a good work ethic.
He doesn't rob stores.
He's been thrusted into the limelight at such an early age, like most of the NBA stars do, is like Kobe did as well. But it's a little early for me to say what kind of player he's going to be. But a bust, I think that's just too early to say right now.
And you bring up Kobe Bryant. Well, look at Kobe Bryant's first few years. That's what really people use as the argument between him and LeBron is that LeBron's been consistent every year. Well, Kobe, who's one of the all-time great Lakers, I wouldn't definitely say the all-time great. I still personally think that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is better than Kobe. But I think you look at Kobe, until his third or fourth year, Kobe Bryant did not really sustain a all-star season. did not have an all-star season. So maybe we'll see that in Alonzo. But, it's the first year he's not 20
I'm
years
about
old.
to freeze you. Is LeVar a bad father? Yes or no?
You can go first on this one. I went first last.
I mean, is he
A good person.
is he a bad father? No, he's not a bad father. I mean, I would have to say he's a great father. I mean, the guy loves his kids, and he's done everything to promote his kids and to make his kids great. Now, obviously, he's put himself in the limelight so much that he reminds you of a diva or one of these like ladies from Housewives or one of these, the Atlanta Housewives or California, I don't know, but no, he loves his kids, and any father that he tries to help his kids, he homeschools his kids. Now I don't know what all goes into that, but he's very committed to his children, and today with I've talked to plenty of people whose fathers aren't in their kids' lives, which
LeBron James.
Yes, I don't know anything about LeBron, which, obviously LeVar and his wife are married, but, from what I've seen, LeVar has a great relationship with his wife. He's really focused on making his kids the best they can be. And the thing is, when you're talking about Lonzo and his brothers, as far as the pressure of being the greatest and being great and trying to compare them with Michael Jordan and stuff, that's not really fair, because being a great father means helping your kids be great. Even if Lonzo became what people would call a failure in NBA, that doesn't mean he's a failure in life. I mean, he can go on to be successful in other areas.
Like LeVar Ball.
Even if he's not the greatest basketball player, he has a 10-year, 15-year career. That doesn't mean his failure is just,
failures that broke man.
That's like comparing a singer to Elvis or James Brown or something. And no, but he is a wonderful father. He always takes up for his kids, and people are critical because they believe that it's good to take up for your kids, but you also want to know if your kids are learning a lesson for their mistakes and stuff. And unless you're in that household, do you know what kind of disciplinarian he is and how he's teaching. In the media, you're not going to know because he's going to protect those kids. But basically, I'm speaking all around, but I'd say yes, he is a great father because he has his kids back 100%, and to me, that's love right there. So,
yes, I totally agree.
I have some refills and some of these for snacks.
Thank you.
We don't need them all because they are my little freshener.
That's what happens when you put it on. Anyways, going back to your point, I really do agree with you. He's starting to promote himself. You see this with him, wanting shoe deals in other countries and then putting his sons, saying they're going to play for foreign land, signing an agent to them. I think that personally, LeVar Ball was a great father in the beginning. Now he's just becoming that father that cares about his kids and himself. He doesn't care about one anymore. He's 50-50 on, do I love myself more than I love my kids? Because I don't think he could ever say that. But I also don't ever think he could say.
I think a good parents always love their children more than they do themselves.
Yes, and after he wasn't a success, which he still claims he could beat Jordan one-on-one, but I think he really wanted his kids to have what he wished he could have and which he claims should have had and being some great. But LeVar Ball is a parent that's gained a lot of attention. And for somebody that necessarily never was around much attention until he's in his 40s and 50s, even people that are past their middle ages gap cannot know how to handle the attention. He seems to be good at making people believe things that aren't true, but I'm going to say that he does not know how to really handle who is more important, him or his kids, because a lot of the time he seems to be taken in the media for himself and not his children. Calling out Lonzo's coaches, that's where he's not a good parent. But when he's putting his son out there and saying he's really good, I think he's actually doing a good job because the more pressure he puts on Lonzo, the better it'll make him in the long run. That's where he's a good parent, but there are also parts where I say he needs to, stop all that.
Well, I mean, who else are you going to let raise in the media?
Yeah.
I mean, the media is going to say they know what's best and they should do this, but you don't allow the media to raise your kids.
The media are just reporters. They're not.
If my life was on TV, then the media would, even though I'm 43 years old, say I was younger, or even at my age now, the media would be very critical of my father or my mother or anybody. But the media is not there to raise your family.
No.
You know, no one's looking at the media and they're not looking in the mirror, and they're reporting on someone else's life when they could be, the media could be an absent father or an absent mother who's reporting on LeVar, but who are they at home, and how are they as a family? So, regardless, no, I'm not crazy about LeVar. I don't hate him, nothing, wish him all the best. He is annoying to me, but some people are humble and some people aren't humble, and that's just, and maybe in his heart he's humble. I don't know. I've never, been in his situation, but I would love to have him as a father, because what he has done with his children. Imagine, like, I'm not a basketball coach. Now, I consider myself a great father, but if LeVar Ball was your father, you may be a better basketball player, or you may be more attention. So, and failure is only failure. It may be in the eyes of the NBA fans and stuff like that, but failure is your character, your work ethic, what kind of person you are when the camera's not on you, and only LeVar and them will know whether they're successes or failures in real life, and maybe the media will report it, but that's what's more important to me.
Okay, then.
And even if LeVar isn't, say Lonzo isn't the greatest basketball player, who says that what his father passed on to him, that he won't be a great father, which is a success, and have a son who's a great basketball player?
Generation.
I like that. Now, is Lonzo a bust with a no? Is LeVar a best father with a no? So are the Cavs in need of D Rose? I hope this will be another no, because
just you like no answers.
No, I watch a little bit of basketball. Barely know.
Do you even know who Derrick Rose is?
Yes, I've heard of you.
Well, I'll start first, and let me just talk first for a second, because I don't have much to say. Because once again, I hate to ruin the basketball topics. I'm not watching much basketball right now, so I don't know. I do know that the Cavs went on, what was it, a 9-10 game winning streak?
13 game winning streak without Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose.
The only negative of that win streak was only 2 teams during that streak had winning records that they beat. 11 of those teams had losing records. So, I would really have to see the Cavs play more quality teams in a 5, 6, 10 game stretch to know where D Rose, obviously Derrick Rose can help them. I mean, Derrick Rose is an amazing player. Even in the playoffs when he played against LeBron in Cleveland a few years ago, he made a clutch 3-pointer, I believe, to send it to either a game 6 or a game 7.
Yeah,
Derrick Rose is a great player. It's just, can Derrick Rose be healthy enough to contribute?
Yeah, he took that.
If Derrick Rose is healthy, there's no doubt. I mean, he's a young guy. That he definitely can contribute, but I haven't watched enough of them against the really tough teams to know where they're hurting or not.
Yeah. Look, personally, just what I watch highlights, so I don't see the whole game. I don't see every drive, but the drives where they get buckets are great drives. LeBron's passing the ball around as a 6'9" point guard, which just proves he's the greatest all-around player in my opinion, but we don't need to get off subject. But LeBron is leading this team right now, but the guys that we said had to contribute are also contributing. Jeff Green is one of their top 5 best players right now. You wouldn't have thought he would be. You'd be thinking, IT, D Rose, T Thompson, all those guys. But, right now, a lot of the guys, look, I don't think Jose Calderon gets enough credit for how he's doing playing the point guard position right now. He's making some great passes. He's using good court vision as a 35-year-old veteran. Jose Calderon, I think, does not get enough respect of what he's doing right now.
How do you have the Jose Calderon or whatever?
Calderon.
Well, it doesn't sound like a basketball name because most Hispanic players are
But
baseball.
no, I'm just saying. I mean,
Well, I've got a
Because he
question
plays for
for you.
Cleveland.
I've got a question for you. Last night, I forget the guy's name that plays for the Pacers.
Victor Oladipo.
Yes, he had an amazing game. Now, I don't know if it was lack of defense on the Cavaliers' part.
But they're second defense on this
He
run.
hit 21 points in the third period, I believe. And he was just on fire. Now, I don't know. Sometimes players are on fire. Is the defense not there? Sometimes
He's averaging over 20 points per game. Having an all-star
he had an
season.
amazing game last night. And sometimes guys just step up and they shoot well and they're just hard to stop.
He got beat by 4 points.
Do they always play that great? You know,
Victor Oladipo, when he came as with the second, third pick to go to the Magic, Steve Kerr said something. I was playing 2K one day, and Steve Kerr was one of the announcers, and he said, I think that Victor Oladipo has the potential to be one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. For the first few years, Victor Oladipo just bounced around from the Magic to the Thunder. Didn't look that great. And I know this is getting off the subject, but when you talk about Victor Oladipo, he's having an all-star season, and I think that he definitely will be an all-star. He's having a great year for the Pacers, who at the start of the year was expected to only have Miles Turner as a leader as Al Jefferson. I'm pretty sure.
What is he? How long has he been in the league?
He's been in the league since like 2013, 2014. I think he was a pick in the 2014 to 2015 season in the
Who
draft.
did he play college for?
I forgot.
Not sure.
Not sure, but he was supposed to be the leader for the Magic. Did not step into that role. Aaron Gordon's really in that role right now.
Can I look at the
Yeah. Let him look. But I don't think I put Victor Oladipo on here, and I definitely did think something about that. He is doing a great job for the Pacers right now, and if you can end the Cavs 13-game winning streak, which I'll get back to, then you definitely have done something. And D Rose not playing in a single game of that Cavs 13-game win streak. After getting off topic and talking about all these other things, D Rose did not play in those 13 games. Jose Calderon did. Derrick Rose could be great. He has shown some flashes in some games that he could be a really key player.
When is he coming back?
He's got to go, I think, get surgery to pop the bone, or I don't know.
When is Isaiah
D Rose
Thomas
is just in
coming
the
back?
wrong position at the wrong time.
When is Isaiah Thomas coming back?
January, but they're hoping for the All-Star break in February. But D Rose has got to prove when he comes back that he is worthy of coming back to this team that just came off of a 13-game winning streak, and I think is beating the 76ers right now. Last time I checked, they were. Which brings us to our next topic. It's not on there, but I think we need to bring it up.
No. We're going by topic. So,
Whatever.
I have a question. Are the Cavs in need of D Rose? Is that yes or no?
Yes, I think they really are.
Oh, yes, they are. They're going to need everything they have.
Okay, let's get.
I mean, they're going to need everything they can get.
Yes,
The
to
Cavs-
beat Golden State.
Golden State, the Cavs are going to need, and that's part of any game, I guess, but they're going to need their bench. They're going to need Derrick Rose. They're going to need Thomas. I mean, LeBron can only carry it so far. He's amazing, but it's, the Golden State Warriors won with their bench the first time against the Cavs. And then last year they won
with KD.
with Kevin Durant. So
being their
take
best
it either
player.
way. I think maybe with the bench they might have won again. I don't know. But it's dependent upon all players, and they traded away a lot of players to get Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant had to make up all the loss of the other players. But go ahead. So yes, they need him. Go ahead.
Did
Agree.
Colin Kaepernick ruin the NFL?
Did he ruin the NFL? I think people claim they're not watching it this year because they're kneeling for the flag. People are still secretly watching it because you can't stay away from football. It's America's game. It's not the most worldwide popular sport. Soccer and basketball are, being more to the Euro leagues. But in America, it's football. And I do not see how somebody could ignore the sport. Being a Bama fan, I know I can't, but I don't know how people up in the North and the West and the East are. With Oklahoma, I bet the people down in the West Coast and the East Coast and, all these big teams may be enjoying it. In the NFL, you look, and this year, I see the Titans getting into the playoffs. I see the Titans maybe getting near to the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl, but I think they'll go deep into the playoffs. And saying that, though I am a Titans fan, I never thought I'd really say that about the Titans. And why I'm saying it today is because the NFL is not what it used to be. It's not that the Titans are good, it's that the NFL is bad. Dick LeBeau, who's like 80 years old, who's the Titans defensive coordinator, this is the best year I've seen him have in a long time on defense. It's not because the Titans have gotten better. It's because the NFL offenses have gotten worse. You would never have thought that Carson Wentz would be the MVP candidate coming into this year. Tom Brady's just – I think he's exceeded expectations, but he's still Tom Brady. Drew Brees has been choking lately. Adrian Peterson's been bouncing around to different teams. You never thought he'd end up on Arizona. We probably still thought he'd be dominating in Minnesota. He's on Arizona. Stephon Diggs. You probably never thought you'd hear that name from Minnesota. There are a lot of big names right now that would not be big names if the NFL was the same NFL it has been the past 5 years. Teams are not as good, so it leads the way for underdogs to become better because the teams that usually are great are just not doing it this year. I mean, the Giants, they're having some giant losses.
Okay.
The Philadelphia
Chad.
The Philadelphia Eagles are actually doing good. And Chip Kelly, the former coach, got a job. So everybody that's used to be involved with that's happy.
Well, no, I don't think what Colin Kaepernick has done is hurt.
But no, I don't think it's what it did. But I think watching it, the NFL have hurt the NFL.
Well,
I don't think it's Colin Kaepernick. I think it's just the crowd on the NFL. I blame most of that on Roger Goodell.
Yeah, I don't think that they handled it right. I don't know maybe I do know how you handle it, and I should give it. That's another topic I wasn't thinking about. I don't know. I mean, the NFL was rising and rising and rising and rising, and I think with anything, it can only get so big, and eventually it's going to pop.
Yeah, people were saying they could make a team on Mars.
You're never. The problem is, football is like the stock market. It always wants to get bigger,
yes.
But you can only get so big, and you're going to fall. Now, to see in the future what happens, there's good things that are going to come from this. I don't know every fan who is offended and is not watching, but from the few that I've talked and gathered from are people who aren't really going to pay attention anyway. Most of the people I know that I've talked to who aren't going to watch the NFL they're not sitting around watching college football either.
No.
They're not. Whereas someone like myself will watch a college football game that I have no interest in, and I'll put it on an NFL game that I have no interest in.
Yeah.
These people who are offended, to me, they're not really losing anything.
They're not real football.
There's probably things that have affected it. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers getting injured, that's not good for the NFL because he's one of your stars. I think.
But then their backup quarterback doing good.
He is doing good. I mean, he lost a game by a field goal. A very long field goal in Pittsburgh, the longest ever, or the longest in a long time in Pittsburgh. But, for the most part, I think the NFL's fine. It's going to take some time to see what happens. I have no issue with Colin Kaepernick myself. He has one thing that I forgot the amount, but the NFL is donating a lot of money to organizations to help with social change, with minorities and stuff. I forgot they donated about $80-something million. I'm not sure the amount. Don't hold it up. But it did bring change. Now some people are going to say great, and other people are going to say it's just to shut us up and have us to But I do think the NFL donating the money is going to cause some of the players to stand now for the national anthem. And we have a division in this country. You're going to have people who are racist.
Yes.
Politically, you're going to have people who are going to be offended.
Yes.
I went through a period where I wouldn't take my hat off during the national anthem because it wasn't that I was anti-American. I was anti the establishment in charge. And I was, I wasn't for the war in Iraq. I felt like our country, what is the word I'm looking for, had been hacked, taken over, had been hijacked.
And you weren't. Yeah.
I didn't feel like the president won the election. I didn't like the war. I thought it was Daddy's war. I didn't like anything, so I was upset with America. And
you were young too.
We got to be careful how we protest. I mean, there are people who are sensitive to the flag, but hopefully with time it'll dissolve.
Yeah.
It'll become unity. It'll only take time to see. But you know, I respect Colin Kaepernick. He's won some awards lately, and for what he's done, and you know, I applaud him because I don't think of him as a thug or anything. I just see him as a person that used his fame as a platform to draw attention
And
to
ruin
issues
his career.
that-
Yeah,
and
basically. ruin
if
his
you
career.
want to blame
you
people
wanna
for
say it
drawing
loud.
attention to the issues, blame the media. The media
Yes.
is the one who airs these shootings and all of these incidences, these riots. So, you know, they air it, it becomes big news, and then, you know, these guys who are professional, they have a platform to stand on and speak on, and they're bringing attention to it. So I think it takes time to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know, real true football fans are going to watch their team regardless. Yeah, you may lose the guy who may watch the game for 30 minutes or 2 hours, but you're not losing the real fans.
Yeah. And that's the point. Like, that's the basis we try to get when it comes to football. Is just keeping those fans there. And as Alabama fans, we're never going to stop watching, even if we lose, because the true fans stick with it.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. Would Alabama fans quit watching if Nick Saban kneeled for the flag? There would be people who would be upset, but they would still cheer for that team.
We've
I
won
don't
15
know.
championships.
It would be
We're not
interesting
16
to see
championships. We're not siding that.
who, that if Nick Saban came out with a Doug Jones shirt or a Roy Moore shirt, if it would affect the fans or not. And a lot of them who would disagree would still support their team.
Well, we hope they would. Our host, Delia, is not feeling too well right now, so I will ask the questions.
Well, let's bring Delia in for a special topic.
Oh, wait, that's
The gymnastics
Yeah.
topic. Delia, would you like to come in and discuss the gymnastics, the state of gymnastics, or not really? Oh,
Yeah.
you need something for your throat? Is there something you need me to come snuggle on you? Yeah,
But
you.
I want to hear you guys talk about the gymnastics.
All right. Yeah, we'll go and get into that. We have a lot. So since we have a lot more topics, I think let's
What
go ahead
in
and
the
get.
heck are you guys watching?
I have no clue.
Earth girls are easy.
Okay, so here we go. Wait, what?
It was a Jim Carrey movie, Earth Girls Are Easy. Like Jim Carrey and these guys show up as like hairy aliens and they shave them and then like they start hooking up and kissing. It was a PG movie, like the girls and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was one of those horrible movies.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and is Colin Kaepernick ruin the NFL? No. All right. Is gymnastics a rising art? You know, as a sport, I see a lot of people doing flips. You know, a lot of people doing more that revolves around it. And you know, with some sports like baseball and football, I'm not saying football's going down, but you know, viewings are a bit down. And with baseball, definitely not America's technically sport anymore. It's not America's pastime as it once was back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, etc. I think gymnastics is a rising art. I think it's going to take a while for it to fully become a sport, just because.
It is a sport.
It is a sport.
I'm not saying it's not a sport. I'm just saying, like, I think eventually a ton of people are going to watch it. And a lot of people will.
are watching it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, the whole group of people, like, it'll become one of America's pastimes.
I think the problem with gymnastics is we live in a man-controlled world where men tend to watch men movies. They tend to watch men's sports. I do think that gymnastics is on the rise.
Yes, I agree.
Because
As
a
it
sport
should
like
be.
gymnastics can only rise, whereas a sport like baseball, a man's sport, which women like too, is going down. But you really got to get the men involved. I think, you know, I don't know about the North, but I know in the South is really great in sports. Softball, gymnastics. I think softball is rising.
Kentucky
But,
and basketball.
I think that in, you know, you've got Florida, you've got Alabama, Georgia. There's a lot of gymnastics schools in the South that are very successful.
Alabama,
Georgia wins championships. Florida's great. Auburn. And I do think girls are really, really into gymnastics. And I think that it is growing. I think it's fun. You know, but to really get the sport, we've got to get men into, you know, men watch men play golf. But they don't watch women play golf unless it's some young star that seems like they're going to be a Tiger Woods or something. But it's hard to get men involved. You have men who like sports. I had a roommate once who would watch anything, would watch women's softball, hockey, whatever. But unless you're a true sports enthusiast, a person who watches the Olympics or something,
yes,
it's always going to be a struggle to get people on board. But I do believe with these, I think one of the good things is the SEC has its own network now, and with the SEC network, you're going to see a lot more women's sports on TV, and with other stations, the Big Ten
will go up.
Instead of
just
if you just had ESPN, you're just going to have men's sports majority. But I think now with the Big Ten network and the ACC and the SEC network, you're going to get more women's volleyball, women's gymnastics, and it can only. People who like sports and people who like the SEC network are gonna watch those shows that normally would watch those competitions.
And the way I think that it's rising is, all the retweets, all the reposts you got on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, etc., YouTube, all the likes. As you start to see some great gymnasts that can do many tricks, people are going to start being like, "Oh my gosh, this is like, this is the LeBron James of gymnastics. This is a freak." This is an athletic freak, a flexible freak, and freak not in a bad thing, but like LeBron James is an athletic freak, meaning nobody.
Well, I think that's interesting, but I think one of the differences is I'm sure that there's gymnastics athletes that are popular, but when you think of college basketball, professional basketball, college sports, we do break out the individual. We give awards to the best running back, the best quarterback. Gymnastics is more of a team sport. You don't think of a person's name. When you think Oklahoma, you think Baker Mayfield, or you think of the coach's name, Lincoln Riley. But when you think of gymnastics, a name doesn't pop out. You think Alabama, UCLA, Georgia. Yes. It's more of a team sport than an individual sport.
Because there are a lot of
individualities, personalities, and celebrities within a sport. Like, I think if you had someone who was on Georgia's gymnastics team, or Florida, or Ohio State, and they were on TV more, and it was more about them, it may bring the sport up. But
they need an individual story.
But as a team, it doesn't get the news, a sensationalism.
They need a gymnastics god.
People are
going to want to look up to.
People sometimes watch a sport just because a guy gets arrested. People watch something because someone's in the news for
drama,
negativity,
the
whereas
attention,
there's not any drama in gymnastics usually, or it's not reported.
Oh, yes, and I do agree with you totally. I hope you please do, Leah. Everybody basically agreed yes. Now it's time for our next question. LeBron James. King. LeBron, Raymond James, LBJ. In his 15th year, 28, is it 27, 8, and 8? 28, 8, 7, 7, 27, 8, and 8, something around that. I mean, the numbers are so gigantic, it's hard to even, really remember. It's just something large. And what he's doing right now is the best he's done in his career. And I think it furthers my argument that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. Jordan in his 15th season retired. Jordan thought he was done after 10 years. Then he comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I still got a lot more to know." No dip. I mean, there's always more you can know. Even Albert Einstein would tell you if he was alive today, he doesn't know everything. He's still got tons and tons and tons and tons of things to learn. Jordan once picked up a basketball, put his finger on the inside around the seams. And, you see those little, dot-looking things on there. And he said, "Oh, this is what I know." But points to the rest of the basketball, says, "This is what I have left to know." LeBron James, mentally, all-around greatest basketball player of all time. Kareem, LeBron, Larry Bird, Jordan, greats of basketball. It's what makes the sport great. What sports like gymnastics, if they had, would be so popular. And I think that's what's going to put them on the rise. But LeBron James is leading a cast.
Maybe athletes could help, like LeBron James, bring attention to sports and stuff.
Yeah. They do that with the WNBA, which needs a lot more attention because I've watched it and there are a lot of great athletes on there.
Yeah,
in his 15th year.
Women play sports really good and they don't get, women basketball, basketball has changed, and it's about slam dunks and stuff. But women really, sometimes when you play a game right, it doesn't seem exciting when it flows right. But women really play sports right. They really are team oriented, and they really pass well and shoot well. I mean, you watch. You watch South Carolina, and you watch Mississippi State and UConn. I mean, those girls are very talented, and they play the game better than the guys a lot of times. The guys play a year or two and leave, whereas the girls stay 4 years, and they're better. I mean,
Yeah, and getting back to we're talking about LeBron James, what we thought about him this year. I'm thinking this further is why he is the greatest. One of the greatest, if not the greatest athlete I've ever seen. And I know that I've not been around for a long time, but I've seen and watched film of athletes before, the greats, and, he is just, he's built, he's strong, he's tall, he's quick, though he's big. And he's got more built since he's returned.
He's intelligent, and he's in control, and he's in charge.
The mental part of basketball is the most important.
He's disciplined. I mean, basketball is.
If a small guy's going up against Yao Ming, the only way he can beat him is mentally. If Yao Ming's stupid, that's how they beat him.
When is LeBron ever injured? And think about it. I mean, he's
playing
more than anybody.
Unless it's preseason.
Think about it. He plays more than anybody because he's been in the championship, 7 years
Tied for
ago?
minutes.
So whereas everyone else's season is ending in April or May or whatever, his season goes on to July or whatnot. Or
June. Where he averages a triple-double in the finals.
He doesn't get any of a break, and then he's back in the grind, and he's always motivated.
7 days a week he works out during the season. 5 days a week during the off season. So those 2 days he just gets spent with his family and chill. But I mean, he just bought a new mansion in LA, and that could mean something for Los Angeles fans. But in his 15th year, I think he wants this MVP trophy because no other athlete in basketball has ever gotten an MVP trophy in that part of their career in their 15th season.
Really?
Nope. He'd be the first. James Harden is his competitor right now. I don't care who else you put out there. Giannis is great, but LeBron is LeBron. And if this is considered one of the best LeBron seasons, you cannot keep him from the MVP. Because if LeBron James truly is, even if you don't think he's the greatest of all time, he's definitely in your top 5 or top 3.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're crazy, he's in your top 10. If you're insane, he's in your top 15.
It's so many. I'm not into the top.
But in my opinion, he's the best of all time. Most people would say he's in the top 5. Yes, which doesn't matter. And it's just LeBron James is proving his
LeBron James is physical compared to those guys. And those other guys are physical, but LeBron James is one of the few guys that could go back and play with the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls of the 80s and the Lakers. I mean, he's a man. I mean, the way he went down.
He can play point guard.
The championship they won against Golden State, and the way he went down at the final seconds of that game. Remember when he went up and made the block or whatever the play was? And I mean, just so physical and just he's not afraid to leave it all on the court and give everything he has. He would jump out in front of a car to win the game for his team.
Yes. That, I think, is where
he's a bull.
Yeah.
He's like a bull. That's what he's just.
You don't, so I guess we all agree that it's interesting. I know you don't watch a lot of basketball. You've heard of Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, plays for the Bucks.
Yeah.
A lot of people say he's the next LeBron. And I think my real question here, I could ask, is he a future Hall of Famer? Do you think that if the media continues to put this pressure on Giannis, he'll become like Lonzo?
I mean,
or do you think he needs this pressure? Because I don't know if all these athletes need people saying you're the next LeBron, or telling Brandon Ingram he's the next freaking KD. I mean, Ben Simmons is doing great. He wasn't talked on a lot last year because he was injured. Before then, he was the next LeBron. I mean, Brandon Ingram, if he'll drive to the basket, could be.
I don't know. I mean, it's all individual. I mean, it's still too early to say. I think Lonzo is going to do a good job of handling the pressure. He seems to be a good kid regardless. And this guy, I mean, it's it just depends on what's in him. Some people, I don't know what's in this guy. I forgot how you say his name.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Call him the Greek freak.
Giannis, I don't know what's in him. I don't know what ability he has. With LeBron, that LeBron is giving everything he can. He's going to have an off night, but that LeBron probably can't be any better. He's giving everything he can. I don't know Giannis, how much he can give if he's giving everything. Some people don't have what someone else has. And
That's why you got to be good mentally in the part of basketball. So
some of your best athletes, I know I've heard people talk about receivers like Jerry Rice, who wasn't physically and athletic. I mean, obviously Jerry Rice is athletic, but he didn't have what the guy that played for Detroit Lions at wide receiver, that Megatron. I can't think of his name, but there's players that had more ability. But Jerry Rice was great because Jerry Rice had heart, and heart can carry you to another level. I mean, Brett Favre had heart. Whether you like Brett Favre or not, what made Brett Favre so great is heart. I mean, the guy played like 280 games in a row without missing a game. Eli is like second at 210 or something. Yeah. I mean, that says a lot. Heart right there. You don't know what kind of heart Giannis has or Lonzo has.
I mean, there's a lot that comes to it. But Giannis, being 6'11", being athletic and being so tall, being a bigger version of KD, and being foreign, so he really represents that foreign culture, which makes basketball.
You need to want something? You're fine, okay.
All right. You talked about wide receiver. Is Julio? A lot of people.
Calvin Johnson is who I was trying to say. Megatron.
Yeah.
Great wide receiver, but they say like someone like a Jerry Rice just had more heart. Not that Calvin wasn't
he
great.
Retired early.
Yeah, not that Calvin wasn't great, but what made Jerry Rice the Hall of Famer is he had a heart that some of the greats don't have. Dwight Howard is heart.
Yeah, I don't know if he's.
I don't know. I don't know if he's got. I don't know. Yeah.
Is Julio the best wide receiver in the NFL? Because Bleacher Report came out about a week or two ago saying that Antonio Brown deserved the MVP in the NFL. First off, a receiver cannot get the MVP. If Jerry Rice, all these great receivers never got one, I don't see why Antonio definitely doesn't stand a chance, basically, compared to Julio Jones.
It's hard to say. They're both great receivers.
Here's what I'm saying. If the receiver has a great season, guess who also has a great season? The quarterback, the lineman,
someone always gets the best receiver, and Antonio is great. I mean, when Antonio doesn't play, it makes Ben Roethlisberger's game a lot difficult. But if you ask me, if they said, "Hey, do you want Antonio Brown or Julio Jones?" I think it would be a toss-up. I think if the Steelers had Julio Jones, great. I think if Atlanta Falcons had Antonio Brown, great. I think they're both great, and obviously they bring something different to the game. But everything that I've watched Julio do, I don't know how. Maybe the numbers are better, but when Julio's on the field, I don't see how anybody could be any better than Julio.
Yeah,
he makes the amazing catches.
Ripped it out of some guy's hands.
In the Super Bowl, he made a catch to put his team in field goal range, and the team fell apart. So as far as I'm concerned, you could say Antonio's better, but I don't think anybody's better than Julio Jones.
Yeah, and
there's so many great receivers.
Yes, Stephon Diggs is really good. Fitzpatrick, and moving, that transition from college to NFL. How do you think that's going to affect Baker Mayfield?
Julio's the biggest star to come out of Alabama in a long time. I mean, we've had great players. Mark Ingram's having a great career, excellent career.
Derrick Henry.
But Julio is, yes, you've got the unsung heroes. You've got the tackles that you don't hear about. And we've got, obviously, Landon Collins has been amazing.
Jonathan Allen is doing really good.
Dix has done great.
O.J. Howard.
Ari
Cyrus Kwanjo.
In that star position, the attention, Eddie Jackson's done really good. Amari Cooper has been a little up and down compared to like a Julio. He's good, but he's not. I don't think he's.
He shows signs of greatness.
He does, but Julio of all the big players. Now Derrick Henry's just not getting the carries all the time. Derrick Henry is great, but eventually DeMarco Murray, he's not gonna be the starter. Probably next year, Derrick Henry will take his place because in the football, a running back. And it happens. I mean, right now, Mark Ingram is sharing carries with Kamara, but
he's that Asia guy's becoming the best running back in the league. He looks really good.
But Julio is the best that I've seen come out. But it's hard to compare positions because, like I said, Landon Collins is amazing. Clinton Dix is amazing. I mean, every time I turn on, they're making interceptions. They're doing something. But at that position, Julio is one of the best.
And
I think
Cyrus Jones.
One comment I would like to put in.
Kenyon Drake.
I think Antonio Brown, the one thing I don't like about Antonio Brown, and I'm not saying this because he's not an Alabama player, but Antonio Brown has a little bit of attitude. And Antonio Brown has been known in the playoffs and games to not show up when his team isn't going to win or to kind of pout, whereas Julio Jones would never do that. I mean, it's hard to say who's better when they're at their game, but I believe I don't want to diminish a man's character or say that Antonio Brown is not a good person, but I think that Julio has more heart. I think he gives more, and he would never quit on his team before Antonio Brown. He would never do that. And I don't mean that to put Antonio Brown down. Julio's never in the news. He never pouts. He's a team player, and he's always positive.
I mean, the only time I ever heard of him is when he said that Josh Norman couldn't guard him. But I mean, every player has
there's a little cockiness in the sport.
When you're the greatest wide receiver.
They don't all say it, but yeah, they're all cocky. Nick Saban, I mean, I got on the Baker Mayfield for being cocky, but most winners are cocky. I mean, Nick Saban would be cocky. It's just
from what I've heard, he's an a-hole to his family.
He doesn't want to draw attention because he's trying to focus on winning ball games. But I'm sure in private he says the same comments as well.
Baker Mayfield won the Heisman earlier. What are your thoughts on his transition to the NFL?
I mean, once again, I think it's dependent upon character. I mean, he is a great quarterback. He's been there 4 years. I think he's a winner. It's hard to tell sometimes. I worry more about his character than anything.
Yes, running from the cops, grabbing his crotch. I mean, what some of the stuff he's done. Really great players don't do that. Really great players make mistakes. But your really great players, you've got players in positions that get in trouble that learn how to succeed. Look at Tom Brady besides Deflategate.
Really great players stay out of trouble. Well, that Deflategate was a bunch of crap anyway.
Who should be fired and Roger Goodell.
I don't like Roger Goodell. I don't like him. No, I don't hate anybody, but I don't like Roger Goodell. No, not at all.
But I think Mayfield, you see a lot of comparisons with him and Johnny Manziel, but
well, I wouldn't go that far.
I
think Johnny Manziel. It's hard to compare anybody to Johnny Manziel. I mean, Johnny Manziel was. I don't know. Baker Mayfield is a Johnny Manziel, but he's definitely.
He's on a track to be in one of my.
What is he going to be like when he gets more money, more fame? I mean, how's he going to?
No money, no problems.
They're all going to have written statements and say that they've matured and they're young and they're learning and blah blah blah. And only they know whether it's a statement or the truth. We don't know. I mean, I would take a chance on the guy. Yeah,
definitely.
I think I definitely like him better than I do. Donaldson or Rosen, whatever his name is, from UCLA and USC. But I think you got to take a chance on Baker Mayfield. He's got a heart of a champion. He fights hard and he plays hard. So I don't think he's a Johnny Manziel. But only the people in Oklahoma know his true character, and young people do get out and get in trouble, and why does someone like Jalen Hurts handle it better than someone like him? I'm not really sure. Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder or something to prove. Walk on twice. Maybe Jalen feels like he has less to prove. It could come down to his parents and how he was raised. Maybe Jalen's parents raised him better, and maybe Baker's parents did a great job, and it is just who it is. You can't ever tell, I think that Baker has a good chance of being a good professional quarterback, but I really don't know. It's so hard because there's so many busts. It's just so hard to find.
We talked about Lonzo earlier, about how he may or may not be.
I'll give you an example. Now, Dak Prescott is struggling this year, but he is a great quarterback. I mean, you take he's had some offensive line problems, and you take Ezekiel Elliott out, it's definitely going to hurt your game. But
And their middle linebacker, Sean Lee.
But Dak Prescott got arrested for DUI before the draft. But now, did Dak Prescott run from the law? Did he do anything like that? Which one thing I'll say,
Smoke a bong. I mean, did you see that one?
well, alcohol causes people, once you decide to drink alcohol, it causes you to make decisions a sober person wouldn't make.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
It can affect your
in
decision.
Baker
making, yes.
Mayfield's in credit to him, once you decide to drink alcohol, people handle it different. And he's not Baker Mayfield anymore.
No,
But
not in
Dak
any way.
Prescott got a DUI before the draft. But then Dak Prescott has been out of the trouble, been a great face.
Until
a
lately,
voice
he's been
for the-
great, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, he's
But we all have our bad
struggled, but
streaks.
I don't think, he's struggled, but he has it his character. And I don't know, only Baker knows his character. I don't think he's going to be a Johnny Manziel, but, some people are just more mature than others. It really helps for some of these players to go ahead and get a wife or be in a relation. Like somebody like LeBron, you think of a lot of NBA players that are single, and LeBron has a wife, and only LeBron knows if he's got girlfriends or cheats. But LeBron's got a
Magic
wife;
Johnson,
he's focused. But you
Three
look at
wonderful
some of
kids.
these players that they're in a relationship, they're focused. You look at like Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is a family man. He's a Christian. He actually, when he married his wife, he was a virgin. He saved himself for marriage. He has a lot of kids. He's a family person.
My teacher's husband knew him. One of my teacher's husbands from last year
even
knew
though
him.
he hadn't won a championship.
Oh, and I'll tell you a funny story about
But
him.
listen,
in
even
a
though he
second.
hadn't won a championship, he is a great quarterback. He just hadn't played on a great team, but he has great character. And, someone like Baker Mayfield doesn't need to get married, but they need to be around the right people. They need to be around.
Yeah, and Philip had to make some decisions when he was young. He was around here, but he wouldn't get started. The coach wouldn't start him. He went to like Athens, and he was a starter. Look where he is now. And that's from decisions. What if that decision doesn't turn out? What if it even worsens the place he goes? Where's that one school that's going to put the best into you and make you the best you can be? And Mayfield, what's the right team?
I don't know
what team
Baker
should he go to.
Mayfield.
Was Cleveland the best for John?
I don't know
Manziel?
what
You never
Baker
know.
Mayfield would be without football, but I feel pretty confident saying that no matter what Phillip Rivers did, he would be successful because it was something in his character, his family. It was something ingrained in him, his religion, his passion for his character, his church, his morals, that he would be successful no matter what he did. And
Yes.
whereas Johnny Manziel, at that time, he was not going to be successful in anything. I mean, if you'd have made Johnny Manziel a famous rapper, he'd have still screwed it up.
Well, but then again, what he did was basically like some. Well, and then look, as a rapper, I would totally agree with that.
Well, Johnny Manziel was
Game.
showing up to practice drunk and stuff that professionals don't
Yeah,
do.
Nick Saban can show up to the games drunk because he's still going to be angry and act the same.
You
day
think,
with
I'm
him.
going to tell you something. I'm sure Kobe Bryant drank alcohol, but do you think he ever showed up drunk? Kobe Bryant showed up 2 hours before everybody else, every day sober, practiced,
would sleep in his car right by the
took a
gym.
nap,
I mean,
woke up and played. Now, did Kobe ever go to a bar or have a drink? Yeah, he probably did. I'm sure he did. But when it came to playing
wrote
the
a rap
sport of
song, yeah.
basketball, he wasn't like Ron Artest drinking Hennessy at halftime.
but Ron Artest is a bad dude. He didn't ruin his career though, because there's a difference between being considered a.
Could he have been better?
Yes, definitely. I think his talent, yes. But I think there's a difference between ruining your talent and being a bust. And, we're just going to go ahead and get 3 things out of the way. College football predictions, NFL predictions, NBA final predictions. We're just going to get all the predictions out of the way, and then we're going to go to our last 3 subjects, and then we'll be out here. So give your 3 predictions for the 3 sports, or 2 of the same sport, and one's the basketball. And then one's football.
Well, I'll go with football. I don't know who's going to win the championship. I can comment on all teams. As far as who, I'm a Bama guy, and up until this year, I've always took Bama to win the championship. Maybe it's because we lost the championship. We've won the championship with a different quarterback every year. Now AJ McCarron did win 2 championships, correct? He beat LSU. And he also beat, and it was different then. It was. You have the playoff now, so it's hard. You got to beat 2 tough teams instead of 1 tough team. And when Notre Dame got in, there would have been other teams there in Alabama. And then when Alabama played LSU, not only would they have played an LSU, they would have had to have played another team. And the year Alabama beat Notre Dame, I didn't think Notre Dame was championship worthy, but they deserved to be in it because they done everything to be in it. They put the right team in it, but I didn't find there was a tougher opponent, a more formidable. It's hard for me, I'll say for Oklahoma, I don't think they play great defense. But Baker Mayfield is the difference. He is a great coach. Great quarterback. I think he is the difference. He has playoff experience.
He basically coaches his team too.
I think Clemson is an all-around better team than Oklahoma. I think they play better defense and better offense.
Well, definitely.
And they have experience.
Yeah.
Being a Bama fan, I'm a little worried. I tend to want to put Clemson, Oklahoma in the championship. And I'm usually the cocky guy who thinks Bama's going to win it. Now, Bama's going to, Bama didn't play their last game good. If Bama had played their last game good, I'd feel better about Alabama.
If they had played their last game good, they'd still be the best team in the country.
I still think Alabama can win the championship. As far as the team I give the least chance of winning the championship is Georgia. Now, this does not mean Georgia cannot win the championship. I think Georgia doesn't have the experience of being there that Oklahoma has in a playoff appearance, and Clemson has, and they played 4 playoff games. Alabama's played 5 playoff games, and Oklahoma has played 1. Now, not all those players were there in those 5 games. That means 2 games a season. Alabama played 1 game and got beat in the first season of the playoff. Then they played 2 and won. They played 2 and lost. I think Georgia's quarterback is about like Jalen Hurts. He's a good quarterback and he's a leader, but he's not a Baker Mayfield, and I don't think he's as good as his quarterback for Clemson. So with experience and everything, I give Alabama an edge over Georgia. There's part of me that wants to say Oklahoma will win it. I don't know. Normally, the Heisman Trophy winner doesn't win the championship. Derrick Henry did. But for the most part, usually they lose the championship. But I really don't know. Right now, I tend to like Clemson and Oklahoma better. But like I said, if I wasn't an Alabama fan, I may view Alabama differently. Normally, I'm a cocky Alabama fan. Right now, I'm just a nervous Alabama fan.
And look, Nick Saban was out recruiting. Whenever the news broke that we made playoff, he didn't care what happened. He was going to go with that recruit.
I probably need to end this.
I know. It's rare that I argue because usually we agree. Georgia's going, in my opinion, to pick apart Oklahoma's defense. Jake Fromm's going to have a great game passing the ball, and both of their running backs, Nick Chubb and I forgot the other guy's name, are just going to run the football. Sony Michel. Mayfield's going to have a great game, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be like those West Coast games. Georgia's going to win a close game against Oklahoma. Bama is going to win a close game against Clemson. And it's going to be Bama and Georgia. What has been set up. If Bama beats Auburn, Georgia's not in it. But Bama got beat by Auburn and Georgia's in it. The game that would be most watched would be Bama versus Georgia. Not Bama versus Oklahoma, but Bama versus Georgia. It's another SEC matchup in the championship. It's coach.
That very well happen.
Former defensive coordinator versus head coach. Both of them are head coaches. I think that'd be the most viewed. I think that'd be the most liked. It'd be the most hated by other conferences, but since the SEC is the most dominant, I think it's the best thing that could happen. And I think a lot of people really want to find out who's the better SEC team after Georgia beat Auburn last week.
That would be cool. We had an all-girls basketball championship between Mississippi State and South Carolina in the Final Four last year. They played and it would be cool because most conferences we had the LSU Alabama game. It would be cool for the conference to have both teams in the championship game. That would be awesome.
Because I don't want to say that Alabama versus Oklahoma wouldn't get too good ratings. I don't say Clemson versus Georgia.
I don't want to see Alabama versus Georgia because I want to see Alabama, Oklahoma. The reason being, Oklahoma has owned the SEC. They beat Auburn last year, that was a different team. They would have won anyway. Auburn was not as good as Oklahoma. That wasn't a good bowl matchup. Plus, Auburn's quarterback, Sean White, got injured. But they beat Tennessee a few years ago in the regular season. They beat Bama in the bowl game. They beat Bama 2 years ago in a row. But Bama has struggled against Oklahoma.
And I hope that they play them. But I don't think
it was
they
the
will.
same case with Texas. Alabama hadn't beat Texas in like 40 years, and they beat them for the championship. So
Fun game.
Alabama would be very motivated
to
to beat Oklahoma. I think there would be a lot of motivation right there. I think an Alabama-Oklahoma championship would be very exciting. Probably the country would rather see Georgia-Oklahoma because Clemson, this would be their third time. I don't know if they would be sick of them.
Clemson and Alabama, they're just glad that Clemson and Alabama is
I think for the nation, Oklahoma, Georgia would make. But Alabama's always interested in the game. I think the country would like to see Oklahoma beat Alabama. I think even though Alabama lost last year.
People want to watch Bama fail, though. That's the difference.
Well, yeah, but that's what people want. I mean, if I wasn't a LeBron James fan, I would want to watch him fail. I didn't always pull for the even though I like the Patriots, there's Super Bowls I've pulled for them, and there's Super Bowls like last
for the
year.
Giants against them.
I pulled for the Patriots both years, but they played the Giants. But I pulled for the Falcons last year.
I pull for the Patriots now. After I was going to pull for the Falcons last year, but I will not pull against Patriots after just the choke. NFL predictions. What division are the Titans? I'm not saying the Titans are going to make the Super Bowl, but I just want to get more to my point.
The Titans are in the AFC South with there's really they've got
what are the good teams in the AFC?
The AFC is not as good as
but who's the top team there?
Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 losses and New England has 2 losses. The NFC has more teams. The NFC now that doesn't mean that none of the other teams in the AFC can win it. But Jacksonville and Tennessee are the 2 best teams in their division.
Tennessee, personally,
now your team playing the best is really the AFC is down to really. I personally believe it's anybody's, but I'm going to be surprised if the Super Bowl team representing the AFC is not the Steelers or the Patriots because I don't think
the Steelers are going to get beat early.
I'm not buying Jacksonville. I'm not buying the Chargers.
I'm buying the Titans. And I'm not saying that because I'm a fan, but
the
this
NFC
year I'm
is
buying
better. The
definitely,
NFC,
but the Patriots are better than the Eagles.
In no order of who's great. In no order. Just mention the teams as they come. The NFC has they have the Eagles, they have the Rams, they have the Panthers, they have the Falcons, they have the Saints, they have the Minnesota Vikings. They have the Seattle Seahawks. There's more teams. Any of those teams I could see being in the Super Bowl. Whereas in the AFC, I really struggle to say outside of Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think of the other teams. I really am struggling outside of Pittsburgh. And
it's going to be the Titans and the Patriots in the Steelers are going to get
Titans
shot.
aren't going to get to the championship. Mariota.
Not the championship, but I'm saying that they're going to play the Patriots, and the Patriots are going to blow them out. Because I see the Steelers. You talk about Antonio Brown not coming to play. The Steelers are going to blow.
No, Antonio Brown.
The Steelers are going to blow a game. They're just going to blow a game before they even get to the championship.
No, Antonio. I see that. There was a game that Ben was injured in the playoffs, and Antonio kind of quit on the team. They weren't going to win the game. I mean, he didn't let his team down. It's just Julio wouldn't quit. Like they weren't going to win the game, but Julio.
It's going to be the Patriots and the Eagles, no matter.
I just feel like Julio is more humble. Julio is less about Julio.
No,
he's less about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's more about Antonio. Now he's great, but he's more about Antonio Brown. Whereas
Julio
is a Nick Saban disciple. He's a Mark Ingram. One of these guys that they're not all about the attention. They're all about teamwork. Derrick Henry. They're just about doing what they're supposed to do, and that's it.
And our NBA Finals predictions. I've got the Cavs and the Rockets. The Warriors are going to get upset. The Rockets are going to win.
You think the Rockets are going to beat?
Somebody's going to beat the Warriors. I have Cavs.
All right, who's a better matchup? Is the Rockets a better matchup for the Cavs, or is the Warriors? Like, who is the Cavs have a better chance of beating?
The Rockets, by far.
I do think the Rockets have a chance to beat
the Cavs. But the Rockets are going to upset Golden State. It's just too tiring in the West. Who do you have in the finals?
I'm actually going to make a surprise, bold prediction. I'm going to say Boston Celtics, and I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors. And I'm probably going to go with Golden State to win it, but I'm going to say Golden State.
You see Boston beating Cleveland?
Right now, they're a good team. They're a really good team. LeBron's been in it every year, but right now Boston is a good team.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, but LeBron will never miss the finals. LeBron's gonna get the MVP this year.
He'll get if they do, they'll trade him to the Boston Celtics right before.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Good night.
All right, and that is all we have for today. Thank you for watching. We will have another episode later.